Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. A quick warning before we begin, at some point in the story there is mention of self-harm, so if that is something that could make you feel uncomfortable, you might want to skip this story. Now let's begin. This post is from the subreddit True Off My Chest and it's by user Throw Them Both Away 94. I ghosted my husband after I caught him messaging my best friend. Hi, I would just like to say that I am currently very overwhelmed and just looking for someone to vent to. So yeah, bear with me with spelling and grammar and all. I'm also going to skimp on a lot of details because I know they are both on Reddit regularly and I hate them and I don't want them to know I even made this post. Not yet. So, a little backstory. I met my best friend when I was in middle school. My parents were going through a divorce and I had started getting bullied at school. That's where I met my best friend. Let's call her Homewrecker. Homewrecker stood up for me one day when things had gotten really bad at home and I was just letting the kids at school torture me because I couldn't deal. Since that day, I have looked at her as some sort of guardian angel. She was smart, pretty, an all-round it girl, and she wanted to be friends with me. Homewrecker and I had decided to go to the same college, and when we both got accepted, we were over the moon, and it's here where I met my husband. I didn't do so well on my finals one time, and Homewrecker decided she was going to take me out to cheer me up and celebrate the end of the semester. We went to this bar that a lot of people from my college go to. We had a few or so drinks before her boyfriend called her to let her know he was there, and she went to meet him out front. That's when my husband, Loser, came and sat next to me. He sparked up a conversation and we really just hit it off. I mean, we talked for the rest of the night and by 3 a.m. he was asking for my number so we can go out another time. Now, I hadn't really dated, a few flings and hookups here and there, but he was the first person I felt like I wanted to get serious with. He was funny, smart, and handsome, and a bit older than me, so easy for me to relate to. It wasn't long before we actually did get serious. We blended our friend groups and started hanging out all together, which is when I first noticed Loser and Homewrecker had started getting close. I had thought nothing of it at the time. In fact, I was so happy that the two people I valued so much were getting along so well, but now I feel like a complete moron. I don't even think I could have seen it coming. I mean, we moved in together after a year and she had a long-term boyfriend. But anyway, we got married after 3 years. In total, he and I have been together for 11 years. Our entire lives were blended. We have the same friends. We share an apartment. We adopted a cat. I just can't wrap my head around this. I literally only found those messages because my computer died and I couldn't find my charger and he left the tab open. They were messaging on Facebook. My husband doesn't use Facebook. I was in a daze for months. At first, I couldn't believe it. His effing password on his laptop is my birthday. Anyway, I make fairly good money at my job and I knew I couldn't stay with him. So I waited, started looking for a new job and saved for an entire year. I'm sure he didn't notice how distracted and distant I was because he was too busy effing my best friend. I finally found a new place and immediately made plans for me and my cat to bounce. I took as much as I could in my car while he was at work and drove a whole 2 hours away to my new apartment. I've been so busy just trying to figure myself out that I hadn't actually had a moment to take it all in. I'm so angry. It's 3 a.m. and I'm supposed to be enjoying a long-awaited break, but I'm just so angry. I'm feeling so much right now and it hurts. If they wanted to be together, they could have just left me out of it. Why now? Why not 8 years ago? Why marry me if you so clearly wanted her? Why marry another man if you wanted your best friend's boyfriend? Why continuously lie and betray me but smile in my face as if you both love me? I've blocked both of them for now, and I know I'm going to have to eventually tell Homewrecker's husband because he's such a good person and he doesn't deserve this, but I know I'm just not in my right mind right now. Aw man, OP, I'm so sorry you're going through all of that. But plain and simple, both your future ex-husband and your ex-best friend suck. It's good you're going to tell her husband. He does deserve to know. Just be careful with taking too much time. Your disappearance will definitely tip them off and she may try to spin a different story to cover their asses, like making you out to be nuts or something. Anyway, OP, after telling her husband, here's what I would do if I was in your shoes. 1. Get a divorce lawyer. 2. Look for a counselor. The first one is to rip your cheating ex apart, and the second is to help you work through the huge betrayal that the people closest to you keep putting you in every day. Anyways, I'm so sorry you're in this situation. It totally sucks, but it sounds like you are on the right track. And what do you guys think about this whole situation? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Stavo7863 says, I'd at least inform the local law enforcement that you're not missing, so they don't waste resources looking for you. Even better when they report you missing and hear back, oh, she's not missing. I think it'd add to the mind F. Nadia98 says, STD test immediately. I always say this when people find out their significant other is cheating. Your husband slept with a married woman. Please check yourself out and stay safe. Question: did you screenshot or take photos of those Facebook conversations? You could send them to the home wreckers for evidence. I May Be a Baby Doll says, don't forget to protect yourself in the meantime. Get STD tested. Take your money out of joint accounts. Remove yourself from the old apartment's lease. Sometimes, if you tell them what is going on, they'll make the process easier. If possible, make sure you have the evidence for your sake and homewrecker's husband. If they have kids or she comes after him for alimony, it might come in handy. If she's cruel enough to hurt her best friend, who knows what she'd do if her husband divorces her? So tell him secretly so he can get his ducks in a row. Look into therapy and a mini vacation for yourself too. OP's edit. So, hi? Oh my effing god, I did not expect my dysfunctional breakdown rant to go viral. I was never planning on coming back to this page, but now I feel like I kinda need to, lol. So first of all, I would like to clarify a few things. I was completely done with Loser and Homewrecker when I found the messages. Especially because remember when I said I was getting bullied in middle school? Yeah, it was because my floozy of a father got caught having an affair with one of the teachers at my school, and her daughter just so happened to be in my grade. I got to witness the destruction of my own family and then bear the punishment of what happened to the other family he destroyed. And my mom stayed with him, despite it not being the first or last time. She quit her job and spent all her time trying to keep a man that just wanted to hurt her. So yeah, I will never forgive or have any sympathy for a cheater. And for those of you wondering, my dad is a narcissist and he did ruin any relationship I could have had with any of my other family because they don't like him. So that's why I didn't have anywhere to go. He was so bad that no one wants anything to do with me or my mom. As for what I had planned to do to Homewrecker and Loser, I was collecting evidence for a whole year and he had become more reckless as he thought he was in the clear. My soon-to-be ex-husband has been trying to get me since he came home, left my wedding and engagement ring on the island. He's been messaging me through social media for quite some time, begging me to hear him out. Perfect. Now, I need you all to understand that Homewrecker's husband would chop off his own balls if it meant making her happy. I had to have more than incriminating messages, so I went to my husband and told him that if he told me everything, I would consider going to couples counseling. I was lying my ass off. But he did, and I'm not sure how much I believe because he's clearly a liar. He claims they've been hooking up since the beginning of 2019, which is when we had a really rough patch because he wanted to try for a baby. I was so confused because we had both wanted to be child-free up until that point. He had really been pushing it and I really didn't want to, especially with the virus. Now that I think about it, it makes sense. He was literally trying to trap me. Everything is in his name because I was building my credit. I would be forced to stay with him even if I caught him cheating. But anyways, I'm going to be taking this confession I recorded straight to Homewrecker's husband with all the printouts of Facebook messages. I will also be making a big group chat for all the family and friends to see. Here's to effing with the wrong bitch. Okay, well, absolutely nothing to add to that except saying, hey, check out this other playlist with only stories that have updates on them, and now let's just move on to the update to see how this story ends. So, it's been a hot second since I've been on here, and I do have a lot to say. It's only been like a month since I decided to talk to Homewrecker's husband, and crap hit the fan. I finally found the nerve to go and talk to her husband after talking to a friend who had visited town. She helped me see that it would be easier to tell him and be there for him because I didn't get that when I found out. I went to his house at the time I knew Homewrecker wouldn't be home. He was surprised to see me because, and get this, Homewrecker told him that we had a huge fight because she told my husband that I was cheating on him. I forget to mention that Homewrecker's husband, I'm going to start calling him Aaron, is actually pretty close to Loser. So she told him I moved basically because I was a coward that was too scared to face my actions. Laughable, I know. Well, I told Aaron what really happened. I showed him all my proof and he thought I was lying. She told him I would try this because I was jealous of her and what she had with him. I didn't want to show him that recording. I really did not, because I know hearing my husband say it would be like salt in the wound. I will never forget the heartbroken look in his eyes when he looked up at me. I've never seen him cry, but he cried for over 3 hours. He then told me about all of the crap she was talking about me to all of our friends. She has been for years apparently, but as of late, he said she talked about me like a bitch off the streets. Then he told me that she was most likely jealous of me because he had admitted to her in high school that he found me attractive. She never said anything about this to me ever, and she has absolutely nothing to worry about because I would never have done that. Also, he said it was just an innocent crush and he never even thought of acting on it, but he told her because they were trying this open communication thing in their relationship because she had got caught cheating and basically gaslit him into thinking it was his fault. She told him she felt like she could never talk to him about anything and she felt like he was getting too close to me. I found that weird because 1, we have never been close, 2, she never told me anything. But according to Aaron, Homewrecker is very insecure in her relationship with me. She thinks that he and I are the perfect couple. We have nothing in common other than us both being black. So not only is she a lying see you next Tuesday, but she's a lying racist see you next Tuesday. I went home sort of in a daze. I honestly did not know how to feel about any of that. A small part of me was begging Homewrecker to have a reason for hurting me this way. Like, maybe I did something to hurt her and she never told me, but nope, I have nothing to do with that. She just did this because she could. I had been sulking over that these past few days, and then yesterday I got a call from the hospital. I was lost because why would the health center be calling me? At first, I thought it was a scam, but they left a voicemail, and the rest of this will be a story I will be retelling from my ex. Smiley face. Apparently, Aaron went to my house a day or so after I met with him. He came banging on the door and first punched my ex in the face, and then Aaron told Loser that he didn't deserve me. After that, Aaron proceeded to tell him that he and I were now dating and that we were going to be celebrating being without them at a ski resort come Christmas. Loser's favorite thing to do on his birthday in December. Loser just let him do that and apologized to him the whole time. But after, he went to his room and swallowed a whole bunch of pills and woke up in an ambulance. He tried to end himself, but someone had called 911. I assumed that the neighbors called because of the commotion with Aaron, but now he's on watch at the hospital. Now, I want to specify that I will not be getting back with my husband ever in this lifetime. He broke my trust in a way that is irredeemable, and I don't want to be with someone I can't trust with my heart. However, as of now, I'm trying to be there for him. I might hate him, but I also still love him so much for a reason I can't explain. I am still going to be divorcing him, but as of right now, I just need him to be alive and okay. Beyond that, I have since exposed Homewrecker to all of our friends and family. She called me 30 times one day and sent me a flood of messages. She switched between begging me to talk to her and telling me I ruined her life and she hates my guts, to say I ruined our friendship over a man and blah blah blah. Girl, you're delusional and I don't care. And since I know you're going to see this post just like the last one, I'm way prettier, kind, hardworking, and more compassionate than you'll ever be. Loser went to you because you made yourself available. Your husband wanted me because you are too much of a selfish, raging bitch to treat him like your boyfriend and not your doormat. You are a coward, a user, and an evil person. I'm not going to block you because I enjoy watching you spiral in my messages, but you really need to seek help. Oh wow, OP, well, first of all, congratulations on everything you did. Staying with your husband though through this time shows a lot of character, like a lot. Hopefully he gets back on his feet soon so you can actually leave him and forget about him. So here's wishing you, OP, all the best in the future. Take care and thank you for sharing. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance and it's by user ApprehensiveDonkey3. Only company projects on company property? Sure. While in college, I had a co-op semester in a shop environment with a small company. My position was a designer with their product development team, and there were not very many tools available to make things. We were expected to produce concept prototypes out of cardstock and Elmer's glue. When our first presentation was met with disappointment since they just hired this new intern to improve the quality of deliverables, referring to me, I decided to do something about it. Over the next couple of weeks, I started bringing in my own tools from my personal shop. I had a whole menagerie of woodworking tools, automotive tools, my welder, and even a couple of my 3D printers. I turned their chintzy studio area into a respectable prototyping space. The next presentation went very well when we were able to show a very fancy model paired with CAD designs and the associated 3D prints, detailed woodwork, and even bespoke metal details. Everyone was very happy and I got to work with my own tools at my job. It was a good time. Then came the rehearsal. The company had originally hired me as part of their expansion, and about 2 months after I had joined, roughly a month after I built their shop, the company was finally big enough to hire a single HR person. If you have ever had to compete with the mental gymnastics of human resources, I am sure you know where I'm going with this. One evening, I was staying late to work on some personal projects. My immediate supervisor and everyone I worked with were aware that I did this. The new HR lady was not. The day after, she called me in for a chat. It essentially went like this.
Why did you leave so late after clocking out last night?
I was just working on some personal projects.
Okay, well, you can't use the company space for personal projects. It's against policy.
Why? It has never been a problem before.
Running a shop costs money, and if that money isn't invested into the company's projects, then it isn't a good use of company funds.
Now, I know the running of a shop costs some money in power, labor, and maintenance, but I was clocked out and the tools were basically all my own personal tools. So I said, I was clocked out and only using my own tools. The company isn't actually spending anything for me to do my own work.
Regardless, while on company property, you will only work on company projects. If you want to work on personal projects, you must do it in your own shop.
I considered explaining how the shop is 95% all my tools and equipment, but I only had about a month left in my co-op before heading back to classes next semester. And I was planning on taking my tools back by that time anyway, so cue malicious compliance. I concluded the conversation with the HR lady by asking for a transcription of her verdict in an email. I then waited until everyone had left work the next day, then spent about an hour rounding up all of my tools and putting them in the back of my truck. I took them home and the next day went to work to find my department in chaos. I was immediately called into my supervisor's office and sat down. My supervisor was a pretty chill guy, so he calmly asked why I cleaned out my stuff. I simply showed him the email from the HR lady and explained that if I can only do company projects on company property, then I will also use my personal property for personal projects. He laughed a bit to himself under his breath, asked me to forward the email to him, and then dismissed me. For the next month, I happily glued pieces of paper together to make simple form models while the entire department fell apart. We were unable to complete promised prototypes for our biggest client, lost that client as a result, and I left the company for good shortly thereafter. If you are going to run a company, it helps to provide your employees with the equipment they need to adequately do their job. And once again, sticklers for policy failed to see the bigger picture. Well, she didn't really know, but she thought she knew better. Good for you, OP. Thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.